Horace Mann and John Dewey are two men whose philosophies helped to shape today's education system. Horace's philosophy was based upon the common school movement, and John Dewey's philosophy was based upon the progressive movement, and specifically pragmatism. Horace Mann was born in Franklin, Massachusetts on May 4, 1796. He joined the first U.S. Secretary Board of Education in 1837, where he specialized in inspecting schools and how they were being conducted. After doing this for some time, Mann wanted more funding for education and for the Commonwealth to have education and higher pay for teachers. This started his journey towards education reformation. Horace Mann got this idea from Thomas Jefferson, who believed that the survival of America's democracy depended on the education of all citizens, not just the privileged. The Common School movement was an effort that began in the early 1800s to provide free education to all students. Mann traveled to Prussia, where he was introduced to the idea of students being put in grade levels based on age. It was a good idea because the subjects were specialized, and it encouraged students to be motivated and graduate to the next level. John Dewey was born in Vermont in 1859. He was an American philosopher, psychologist, and like Horace Mann, an educational reformer. He was the founder of a theory called pragmatism, or also called instrumentalism. This was the belief that practice and theory are linked. He used this idea and applied it to education with a book published in 1923 called Experience in Education, which analyzed progressive and traditional education. In traditional, he found it to be too strict, and progressive, too spontaneous. Within pragmatism is continuity and interaction. Continuity is how past and present experiences influence the future, and interaction is how current situations impact experiences. Human experience influences the capacity to learn. John Dewey supported progressive education because it teaches children to think for themselves rather than teaching children what to think. Pragmatism develops the child for society and allows them to self-actualize. Now to contrast Horace Mann and John Dewey's philosophies, which is difficult because both men were very similar in what they believed in. However, looking deeper, there are some aspects that these men do not share. John Dewey fought more for individualized students, while Horace Mann's philosophy helped everyone in the Commonwealth, such as families who couldn't afford to send their children to school. John Dewey's theory was also focused more on the education of students, and Horace Mann's theory was based on the structure of classrooms and how outside factors can help a student learn. Dewey and Mann shared some similarities as well. In fact, some say that Mann paved the way for Dewey's philosophy to be born. Both men focused on reforming education for most of their careers. Also, both of them are considered the founding fathers of proper education. Both of their ideas were centered around democratic actions. They also took in the students' social improvement and community success into consideration. Despite their similarities and differences, it can be agreed upon that these men changed the way our education system works, and public schools would not be the same without them.